People don't often talk about the difficulty when it comes to negotiation of a very simple request for repairs in real estate. Good day, everybody. I'm Connor with Honor. I wanted to talk to you about how that particular part of the process works whenever you're buying real estate, condominium, townhome, or single-family residence. There comes a time when after your inspections, and if you didn't know you should do inspections, that's something else we should visit in a future video, as I've done in the past. Go to santaclaritaopenhouses.com and click on my blog at the top part of the screen. There's a lot of articles there that will help you navigate that process until you and I have a chance to speak. But when it comes to this request for repairs, you've done some kind of inspection on the property, you've had a professional go out, maybe you've had somebody that you're related to go out, but in some way, shape, or form, somebody went out and inspected the property that has some kind of credential, experience, and knowledge that's able to have them give you more than maybe what you might be able to see. Plus, they look at all the different systems. They'll look at the electrical, they look at the plumbing, they look at the roof, they look at the elevation outside, they look at potential neighborhood issues, neighbors that maybe have effect over your property, fencing, and those sorts of things. They complete this detailed report. From that report, typically, it just depends on the market and the buyer's motivation and, of course, what they ended up paying for the property. Sometimes they'll put together what's called a request for repairs. Whenever I complete that for my buyer, it's not just an arbitrary, after we speak, of course, get down to the nuts and bolts of it. What exactly are we going to ask for? I also put together another document that talks about the associated costs. What do these items cost? Because what I don't want to go in with my buyer looking like I'm new in the business or looking like I don't have any experience in real estate. When I'm representing a buyer, I want to give everything I can and approach it as a professional would, as I have to explain to the seller as if maybe they know nothing about their property. And in most cases, what I'm pointing out that came via an inspector, they maybe had no knowledge of. In most cases, that seems to be what's happening, or at least they're playing poker. But because of that, I need to put together a very organized and a very concise request for what I'm asking for on behalf of my buyers. So when I do send that over to the seller, there are no further questions. But when I do explain that to the seller's agent, I do explain that this is where the buyer is. These are items that the seller should be paying attention to anyway, if they in fact maybe can't sell their house because they're unable to negotiate further on this particular point that my buyer's asking for. What sellers don't appreciate, and I believe buyers can understand this as well, is when I get a request, I'm representing a seller now, I get a request for repair, and that request for repair is asking for some large amount of money without any kind of validation as to what the money is for, and they put on there very simply in lieu of repairs. It's incredibly unprofessional, and there really is no way that any seller worth their salt is going to pay much credence to that particular request for repair, because it looks more like them trying to pull extra money out of the seller because maybe they've had some kind of a coming to Jesus moment, if you will. Maybe they say, well, maybe we paid too much for the house. Maybe it was a high competition listing where there were multiple offers. Whatever the case may be, whenever your agent formulates a request for repairs, just make sure that they do it in such a way that there are no questions and it doesn't give an appearance as if you as the buyer are trying to pull money out of the seller for no reason. Again, I do put associated costs with any of the repairs that are put in. I have my entire network of professionals, so me getting this information for the people in my periphery, very, very simple because they're already part of my network. So I have home inspectors and electricians and plumbers and handymen and these sorts of people, painters and such, that are able to explain how much these cost and actually prepare official documents that do show what these costs for repairs are going to end up being. That is a much better way to negotiate that particular part of the process. And it's important that you have an agent that's going to stand up for you, be able to approach the seller or the seller's agent without any qualms, stand shoulder to shoulder, chest to chest, and explain to them, this is what my buyer needs. Hire smart, hire educated, hire knowledgeable, and hire a strong real estate agent to represent you. I'm Connor with Honor. When you're ready, go to SantaClaritaOpenHouses.com. You'll find all my information there, and thanks for watching.